Local governments and law enforcement agencies are often criticized for failing to adequately address issues related to animal welfare. This neglect stems from a combination of factors, including lack of prioritization, inadequate funding, and insufficient training, which perpetuate the suffering of countless animals and undermine the principles of a compassionate society. Here's a deeper look at how they fall short and why change is urgently needed. This is Dr. Mark, animal advocate, longtime animal rescuer, published author of many animal books, registered investigative journalist, and former deputy sheriff. Lack of prioritization. Animal welfare is often seen as secondary. Many local governments and law enforcement agencies prioritize human-centric issues, relegating animal welfare to a low-priority status. Misconceptions about animal abuse also play a role. Some authorities fail to recognize the strong correlation between animal abuse and other violent crimes, treating animal welfare as a soft issue rather than a serious community concern. Absence of comprehensive animal ordinances. Outdated or non-existent laws are a big problem. In some areas, like Washington Parish, Louisiana, there are no specific ordinances to protect animals, leaving law enforcement without the legal tools to intervene. Ineffective enforcement is another issue. Even when ordinances exist, they are often poorly enforced due to lack of resources, personnel, or willpower. Inadequate resources. No animal control officers is a major concern. Many jurisdictions lack dedicated animal control officers, leaving law enforcement to handle animal cases with little training or support. Underfunded programs exacerbate the problem. Shelters, rescue organizations, and humane societies are underfunded, forcing them to make difficult choices, including euthanasia for healthy animals due to lack of space. Insufficient training. Lack of specialized training. Police officers and deputies often receive little to no training in handling animal abuse cases, resulting in mishandling or overlooking critical situations. Failure to recognize abuse. Without proper training, law enforcement may not recognize signs of neglect or abuse, allowing perpetrators to continue their actions unchecked. Inconsistent accountability. Selective prosecution animal abuse cases are not pursued with the same vigor as other crimes, leading to inconsistent outcomes and minimal deterrence for offenders. No oversight. There's often no independent oversight to ensure animal-related cases are handled appropriately, creating a culture of neglect. Resistance to change. Cultural attitudes. In some areas, particularly rural ones, animal welfare is dismissed as a city issue, with resistance to adopting ordinances or funding animal-related programs. Political stagnation. Elected officials may avoid controversial topics like stricter animal welfare laws to sidestep backlash from certain constituencies. What needs to change? Empower local governments, pass comprehensive animal welfare ordinances, allocate funding for animal control officers, shelters, and community programs, train law enforcement, implement mandatory training on animal cruelty cases, including recognizing abuse and handling animals humanely. Create dedicated teams. Establish animal abuse task forces within police departments, consisting of trained officers who specialize in animal-related cases. Hold offenders accountable. Prosecute animal abusers to the fullest extent of the law to send a strong message that cruelty will not be tolerated. Engage the community. Partner with local rescues and advocacy groups to educate the public on reporting abuse and providing resources for pet owners in need. Local governments and law enforcement have a moral and legal obligation to protect all members of their communities, human and animal alike. Without their active participation and support, any effort to address the crisis of animal abuse and neglect will remain incomplete. By holding these institutions accountable, we can pave the way for a truly humane society.